Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And I am so happy this week to be welcoming a very special guest, Tara Coyote. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Tara.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an
Yeah,
honor.
it's always a pleasure. I know that we spoke before in a previous event that I did, and it's always so much fun to just chat with you and connect. And let me just tell you guys a little bit about Tara. And I want to apologize. This is live, and m- my first grandchild was just born on Saturday, and I am dog sitting my daughter's two dogs. So I apologize if you're hearing barking. I'm just putting it out there. There's not much we can do about it. So, anyway, let's get back to you, Tara. So, Tara is the owner of a horse retreat center, Wind Horse Sanctuary in Kaua'i, Hawaii. She's not right. You're not there right now, right?
Nope.
No.
The horse behind me.
She's a certified equine facilitated learning teacher and a life coach. And over the years, she's guided hundreds of people with private sessions, guided workshops, and grief rituals with horses. And Tara has a beautiful memoir, Grace, Grit, and Gratitude, a cancer thriver's journey from hospice to full recovery with the healing power of horses. It's a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 8 different categories. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And her book is about overcoming adversity, a deep dive into the challenges that come from loss, her own harrowing health journey, and how horses have played a significant role in her miraculous healing with cancer. Tara, I am, like I said, beyond thrilled to have you here today. I'm going to have a sip of my tea while you just say hi. And
Sure.
if there's anything you want to add to that, is there anything else that you'd like to share with everybody before we dive in?
Oh, well, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's so great to be on with you again. And I am just grateful to be present and share my story and help inspire other people on a cancer journey to have hope and to keep going. And there's beauty on the path. And that's been a bit of my mission since I was diagnosed 6 years ago. And that's why I keep speaking out. So
I love it. And thank you for speaking out. I think that it I know for me, even when I was diagnosed, it can feel such an isolating, lonely journey, right? Um, and it's not easy for anybody at any point. I think we can all attest to that. Um, how did you deal with that? Did you feel isolated too as you were starting going through your journey?
actually, I did a little bit, but my story is that I been with my best friend as she journeyed through leukemia. She passed sadly, and a year later I was diagnosed. So I felt like I already had a big exposure to cancer, and I was part of a large community already, so I could connect with a lot of people. And I think the fact that I'm so close to my horses, that's when I ran my horse retreat center in Northern California, had quite a big retreat center. So I didn't feel that isolated, to be honest, though I know people do. But what was overwhelming for me was other people's advice and opinions, and everybody thought I should do something, and they wanted to tell me, and that was overwhelming for me.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we've had a lot of discussion about that in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook group recently, um, about unsolicited advice and even hurtful comments and things like this. Um, and I think that what helped you then deal with that advice that was coming your way that maybe wasn't in alignment with you and how you wanted to experience your breast cancer journey. What did you do with that? How did you manage that?
I think really establishing healthy boundaries helped me. Ironically, I had written a free ebook about healthy boundaries before I was diagnosed, so already thought I was pretty good at it. And then I learned, of course, you're always learning and growing, right? I'm still learning about healthy boundaries, but I really implemented healthy boundaries. So when I posted on Facebook, I would say something and I'd just be very clear and say, I know you all want to give me your advice right now, but I'm actually not looking for it. Thank you for wanting to tell me that lemon essential oil can cure cancer. you know, just, I would just be very kind and just say, I know you want to help, but I'm not looking for advice right now. And when I'm looking for advice, I will ask that of you. And I think with family and friends that would offer advice on the phone or in person, I would just gently say, thank you, but I'm really not open to hearing that right now. And just, it's such a fine line because you want to be kind, but also clear in a loving way.
Yeah. I think that, and this is an area that you and I really connect. And I know that we've talked about that before, because I think that many of us who are diagnosed with breast cancer, there's a link with our personality traits of being people pleasers. And I talk about the work of Dr. Douglas Brody quite a bit, who studied cancer personality traits. And one of the dogs wants to come in and say hi. And the link is really interesting in, putting our needs on the back burner, taking care of everybody else first, not setting healthy boundaries, and even having a hard time doing it because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, right? We don't want to upset them. So I think I love what you're saying, um, by just being clear. And I think that's, how did you manage that feeling of not wanting to hurt people, not wanting to upset them, but still being true to you and clear and setting those boundaries? How did you shift that perspective? It's a tough question. How did you shift that perspective, right, in your own mind? Because for me, it's a big part of being able to prioritize our own needs is we have to get rid of that noise of what everybody else thinks that we should be doing, right?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And there is so much pressure because everybody, when you're diagnosed with cancer, it scares everybody because everybody equates cancer with death. So, of course, they're scared and they want to do whatever they can do to help you. And that might not be in alignment with you. So, what I dropped into was a fierce sense of self care, which I talk about a lot, self love, and how important that is. And really realizing I need to put myself first here. My life is on the line, and I know whoever may be has good intentions and thinks I should do this or that or whatever. But my healing comes from myself, and I have to do what's in alignment with me. So, you're absolutely right. I have been a caregiver. I still am a very good caregiver. So it's very easy. And I still work with that now. I put others before myself, but it was a dramatic wake up call and actually a gift to put myself first and to gently communicate that, instead of saying like some atrocious swear word and saying back off. It was like, I love you, I care for you, I know you're trying to help, and yet I need to do this for me. And it would really mean so much to me if you could support me in this. Like that would help my healing, basically.
Yeah, I love that. And, I mean, I can't help but think that it's sad, really, that it has to come to us getting this diagnosis before we have this realization, right? But it's true. I mean, with hundreds of women that I speak with, I just see this pattern over and over and over. And to be able to say, I'm going to prioritize my healing, that in and of itself is so powerful. I think for us to realize that we can do that we don't just have to keep repeating the same cycle and taking on everybody else's opinions and offerings and miraculous recoveries and things that they find on the internet and all of
Right.
these things. And um, so you were saying that you got to this ability to prioritize your needs first, started with self-care, right?
Right.
Starting to say, no, I need to take care of me, um, so that you can be there for others too. I think that that's often a misunderstanding that we have to choose one or the other, when in fact, in my own experience, and I think in yours too, when we do take care of ourselves, we actually have more to give to others. We're not feeling as depleted or even resentful,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's
So, what is there something that you do on a daily basis to help remind yourself, or has it become just a practice now that this is what you do?
yeah. It, it, it's really a daily practice. I still struggle with that. And I think what helps for me is to really tune in to think, okay, I know this person wants to get together or whatever it may be, the circumstance, to really tune in and ask myself, is this alignment with me? Will this create more stress? Does my heart really want to do it? And I think we talked about this in our last talk too. I can't quite remember, but if it's not a big yes when you're thinking of doing something, then it's automatically a no. Somebody told me that years ago, and I think that's so wonderful to really tune into that and the fact that you deserve it. You deserve to do things that bring you joy, and not everything's going to be joyful, but if you're getting a huge intuitive no, it's not right for you to do it, then by all means listen to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I just want to add too, and I've already shared this with you, I'm coming off of years of my mom being sick, and both my parents passed in the last 9 months, and I've cared for both of them, and they lived in California where I am now, and I live in Hawaii. And so it was such a fine edge of tuning into, okay, I want to give to them, and I did give to them, but where's that line of, okay, Tara, you've given too much, you need to pull back because your health is on the line. You're journeying with stage 4 cancer. Like, if you overgive, you're going to be in trouble down the line. So it's not like I have this perfect, some days it's like, okay, I went too far, but it's always a learning process. So
yeah.
that's the gift in it.
I no, I completely agree, and I think that it's learning to listen to that too, right? Okay, I did too much for today. I did too much. It's just our bodies, as we go through these cycles and these processes of healing, some days you're going to have more energy than others. And I know that one of the other big shifts that I talk about a lot, and I'm curious about your experience with this, is learning to give yourself that grace and space to say no, to step back, to rest, to heal, to do what you need to do, but also finding that voice of compassion and not beating yourself up
Yes.
for it too, right? And that can be very difficult, especially for those of us that have maybe been people pleasers. Is I know for me, and one of the things that will creep in is that old story of not being good enough.
Hmm. Yes, I have that.
Um, you have that too, right? Again, these are human things. This is not about us being good or better or bad or good, any of those things. This is us being human. And so I think from just this place of observation, right? Here comes that thought.
Right.
Knowing that it came from childhood for most of us growing up, that's an in-depth exploration of where these stories often come from. So what do you do when that voice creeps in? How have you managed to deal with it?
Luckily, I don't have that voice creep in all that much, but I do. And ironically, in the last few days, it's kind of crept in due to this circumstance I'm in this last week. So I think it's just dropping in and catching that when that critical voice comes in or whatever it may be, and stopping it and being like, wait a second, is this really true? I did a lot of the work of Byron Katie, examining my thoughts with my dear friend Bethany Webb for years. So it kind of trained my brain to look at each thought that comes in and really examine it and question, okay, is this just a figment of my mind or is this actually true? So yeah, and it's really important to catch those thoughts, because if you let them go, they can steamroll like a snowball down a hill, and then it just builds and builds and builds. And before you're, I don't know what it may be, but indulging in something to some reactionary state. So yeah, it's just trying to catch the thoughts basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And it's that awareness. Again, if we've been in people pleasing mode, if we've been in this mode of just caring for everybody else, going on the hamster wheel of life, we haven't typically had the opportunity to have that mindfulness, right? And
Yes.
tap into that. And I think for many of us, when we're diagnosed with breast cancer, it's that opportunity to jump off that hamster wheel. And
Yes.
just the first time in our life. And so that's why I find so many people uh, start to have all of this awareness around, I want more out of my life. Who am I now? Like these big life questions start to present themselves. And that's our opportunity, like you said, to start going inward, to start that personal growth journey or continue it or whatever. I believe it never ends. I know mine certainly.
You're not enlightened yet?
No,
Or-
it's a really big onion with lots of layers, and the layers just keep coming back. But no, and you know what? It's exciting. I love personal growth. Like I get excited when I go through those stages. So, um, but it took time to get there. It wasn't always that way. Initially it was looking at it with fear, like uncertainty. But I know for me, as I've like revealed those layers, what lies beneath is a calm, a certainty, a groundedness that wasn't there when I was focused on everybody else.
yes. Yeah, that's brilliant. Kudos. What wisdom. That's beautiful wisdom to gain.
It's only through going through it, right? And what have you gained? I mean, it's similar, different. What have you gained by going through this journey to now prioritizing your needs first, learning more about who you are in your personal development journey? What's been the biggest gift for you?
I think it basically comes down to the fact that I'm worth it. I'm worthy of self love. I mean, it sounds very basic, but it's very profound and it takes a lot of inner work to get there. If I'm constantly trying to do for everybody else and running myself dry, then there's nothing left for me. And of course, that's going to impact my body in a harsh way. So it's such a gift. It's such an opportunity going through a health opportunity, as it were, like cancer, to really learn, oh yes, this is who I am and I can give to myself. I talk a lot about aloha ma. I live in Hawaii, and it's a Hawaiian term from a dear friend of mine who is also a miraculous cancer thriver. And it's self-reflective love. So I think of it as self-care, self-love, and I think it's the essence of healing, really, of really tuning into that energetic force within yourself that can help you heal. But you have to make yourself a priority to find that, to tap into it. Otherwise, you're just going to be so depleted running around for everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely love that. Can you say that one more time for us? Because I think it's so beautiful.
Sure. Aloha ma. It's aloha and then M-A, self-reflective love. So it's like deep self-love, deep self-care. Yeah.
Love it.
My favorite thing to talk about.
Mine too. Look at that. Yeah. And it's beautiful when you put just beautiful words to it as well, right? That just are all encompassing of the feeling that we want to be giving. And what was there a moment for you? Was it a shift over time where you discovered that sense of self-worth and understanding you are worthy of that that powerful, deep, all-encompassing self-healing, self-love, self-empowerment?
Yes, well, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer almost 6 years ago. I'm coming up on my 6-year anniversary, which is very exciting. And I started tapping to it then, but it was only until, and this is what I talk about in my book, when I was actually dying from cancer. I was referred to hospice, in the winter of 2019, and it pushed me to the edge. Like, I was in so much pain. I was coughing. You know, all my stories in my book and on various videos, so people could tap in there and hear my story. But it took me seeing my death and being in tremendous pain and seeing my body broken down to realize, okay, I've learned self-care and I've done a lot of work, but I have more to do. And it really made me examine each personal relationship I had, each person, to realize, does this feel nurturing to me, or does this create stress? And I, cleared away the relationships that were causing inflammation, as it were, in my emotional body. And yeah, it took me almost dying, basically, to find that true sense. And again, like I said, I'm still working on it, but that was just the big wake up call of just how vitally important that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'm sorry that it took to that point for you, but I'm also happy that you learned the lessons, that you're here sharing them so openly and courageously, and have written them in your book, and that, your mission now is to share this with other thrivers. And I know that you work tirelessly to do that, and we're very fortunate and so appreciative for all the work that you do. So I know that you and a couple of friends are actually speaking of tirelessly serving and sharing for other thrivers. I know that you've been working on a really special project that I'd love for you to share with our audience and tell them more about.
Yes, I would love to. So, my dear friends and I, there's three of us thrivers: Bethany Webb, who does the work of Byron Katie, Willow Starr, and Haley Dubin. We're all cancer thrivers. Two of them, Haley and Willow, are stage 4 cancer thrivers, like myself. Haley is an ovarian cancer thriver. She's 23 years out, and we're all coaches and we're in the public eye. And we are putting on an event Saturday, September 17th. It is at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's on Zoom for 3 hours. And we're all going to talk about our personal journeys. We all have different topics we're talking about, whether it be nutrition, state of mind. I'm talking about Aloha Ma, as I mentioned. It's my favorite topic. um, it's going to be fabulous because we really want to inspire other people with cancer that it doesn't have to be a terrible experience. It could actually be a path of growth and personal transformation.
Yeah.
So if you go to cancerthriversummit.com, you can find all the information there. Perfect timing there for that.
Yeah. I mean, I happen to know a couple of these beautiful women who are going to be sharing in this event. I will be there as well. I'm going to be taking it in and soaking it up as much as possible. And it's a live event,
Yeah.
right? So will it be recorded, and will people have access to the recordings, Tara?
Yes, yes, it will be recorded. Thank you for asking me that. So if you're interested in coming and you can't make it, you can still sign up and get the recordings. Or if you want to attend and something happens, you can still get the recordings afterwards. Oh, and I just want to add too, along with the event, we collaborated with these lovely ladies who created this film, Love Heals Film. It's, I got a chance to see it in Sedona in June, and it's an incredible film. When I saw this film, I was like, this is so much in alignment with my personal healing journey. So we collaborated with them. So anybody who joins the event can watch the film online for about 10 days before and after the event on their own, not during the event, but stream it online. So we're offering that for free as well, because we really, really want to convey this message about how, we can drop into our hearts and heal, and just it could be a powerful growth experience. So yeah, we're offering a lot. We're so excited. So if you're interested in joining, feel free to reach out or check out the website and ask me any questions that you might have.
Wonderful. It's very exciting. I've also popped the link in. I know that you set up a Facebook event. So I've popped the link in. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll find that above this video too. Now, can you give us a little sneak peek about maybe what we can expect? You touched just a little bit on the topics, but what can people expect to walk away with? What are they going to walk away knowing that they didn't know when they came in?
I think they'll walk away with a lot of new information, maybe nutritional information. I think they'll definitely walk away with a sense of hope and maybe an awareness that, hey, maybe this isn't so bad or so scary, because it's especially when you're first diagnosed, it's so petrifying because there's so much fear surrounding cancer. And all of us have the theory of, it can be a joyful experience. Not that it's easy, but you can find beauty on the path. So I think it'll help people have a renewed sense of, oh, this can be a powerful path of self-transformation, and a lot of valuable tools too. Like Bethany will be offering the work of Byron Katie, like I was talking about earlier, questioning your thoughts. She's going to do a little demo. People will participate in an exercise, so they'll get a chance to really examine their thoughts and work on that. And yeah, a lot of tips and such for finding joy on the path. And for me, like I mentioned, I'm talking about really dropping into radical self-love. And I'm going to be talking about some of the principles I learned living in Hawaii and Aloha Ma, as I spoke about. I think it'll be
Wonderful.
fab.
I'm super excited and can't wait to see you all. And I think that the message, and I know again, this is where you and I are so aligned, and as I am with all of you, that we all understand that hearing the words "you have breast cancer" are life altering from that second, right? And yes, they can be enveloped in a lot of fear, but when we allow ourselves to step back and start to look at ourselves and who we are in this journey and what we want on the other side of it, it can be so joy filled, and what's actually possible is way beyond what you probably even imagined, just by taking this as the opportunity to start thinking about you and what you want, and self-care, and putting your needs first, because you matter, because you're worthy, because what you want out of life matters. And I know for many of us, we never even asked ourselves those questions before. And so I love the combination of what you've put together. I can't wait. Again, hop on over to cancerthriversummit.com, or if you're watching on Facebook, click in to the link, and just goes to the registration page, right, where they're able to get all the information and sign up. Amazing. Thank
Exactly.
you. Yeah, super excited, Tara. So happy that you're putting on this amazing event. And I sincerely hope that it's incredibly successful. I know you'll be touching lots of lives and changing them in a 3-hour period, which is nothing when we look at the big picture of things. Right? So, it's, I always say, like, making time for these events is the first step in saying yes to you, saying yes to yourself, saying yes to wanting more out of your life, and learning from people who have walked the path and have really amazing wisdom and insights to share. So,
Absolutely. So beautifully said. Thank you so much. So inspiring to hear the way you talk about it.
thank you. Thank you. Well, Tara, is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with today? Any one last tip for them, perhaps?
Yes, I just thank you for everybody who's tuning in. And I always like to remind people that you are so much stronger than you think you are. You know, we get these diagnoses and it seems so daunting and so overwhelming, but I really believe that we all have an incredible well of strength to get through anything. So I encourage you to find that inner strength and to know that you are worthy and that you are loved, just to bring it all together.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Tara, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure. I know that we could chat for hours. And and I'm very much looking forward to the Cancer Thriver Summit. Hop on over there now, guys. Get your ticket. Again, what was the date, Tara? Just remind us one more time.
Sure. It's Saturday, September 17th. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Okay.
2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, guys. Well, thank you again for watching, whether you're watching us live or you're catching the replay. Thank you so much. And Tara, thank you so much for making time in your very busy schedule to be with us and share your wisdom. And we can't wait to see you at this event. So thank you so, so much.
Oh, thank you. Mahalo, everyone.